Any rail fan who lives in Chicago knows that there are so many rail lines in this area, it's stressful. But don't worry, in this video I'm going to organize these railroads so you can have a better view into the rail capital of the USA. Also, to save time and energy, I'm only going to cover the 14 major subdivisions running freight traffic every single day. But first, what even is a subdivision? Well, I don't really have a direct explanation, but think about it this way. The 6 major rail companies based in the US own tracks in certain parts of the USA, and those tracks are split up into sections. Those sections are called subdivisions. We're starting off our journey with the Norfolk Southern Chicago line. This subdivision stretches from Chicago, Illinois to Cleveland, Ohio, about 300 miles of tracks. It's known as the busiest freight line in the Chicago area with over 50 trains passing by each day. The dispatcher for this line is probably very stressed. My heart goes out to him. Anyway, this active line sees Norfolk Southern freights and Amtrak passenger trains such as the Lakeshore Limited and the Floridian. Actually, my favorite spot to railfan is on the Chicago line. It's Pine Junction in Gary, Indiana. Not only does this location have countless Norfolk Southern trains, it also contains more subdivisions like the CSX Barr Subdivision. From Blue Island, Illinois to Deschler, Ohio, the Barr Sub runs with the CSX Garrett Sub east of Portage, Indiana. That's 200 miles worth of railroad tracks. The Barr Sub only runs CSX freight trains along this line. I wish they had a bit more variety, but we'll just have to stick with what we've got. Next up is the IHB Main Line. This subdivision is more localized, spanning from Franklin Park to Hammond, Indiana, which is around 40 miles of length. This line includes Indiana Harbor Belt local freights and foreign power all day throughout this line. And the reason it sees so much foreign power is that it's basically a short transfer line for more important trains looking to run in and out of Chicago. It's a cool and unique subdivision, and I'm happy that Chicago suburbs are hosting it. Up next is the Union Pacific Villa Grove Sub. Villa Grove? No, more like Villa Grave, cause it's dead. I'm sorry. Anyway, this rail line spans the length of 130 miles going from Chicago to Villa Grove, Illinois. Now, like I was saying, this subdivision is dead. Like, almost no trains run on this line except some occasional CSX trains and that one Union Pacific local. Otherwise, there's probably nothing else. Now, I'm not saying it's completely dead. There are trains that run each day, but it is pretty dead. The CN Chicago Subdivision. From Chicago to Champaign, Illinois, this active line runs CN freight trains all day throughout this 120-mile line. Amtrak trains run through this line as well, although I wish the Amtrak schedule was more busy because there's only 6 Amtraks that run this line every day. Also, fallen flags! But seriously, you can find a lot of interesting locomotives running this line, and if you're lucky, maybe even a heritage unit. Up next, the Union Pacific Joliet Subdivision. Basically, it's the Villa Grove Subdivision with slightly more freight trains and Amtraks. It spans the length from Joliet to Bloomington, Illinois, which is about 90 miles away. Believe it or not, some CN trains accompany this subdivision, but they're only based in Joliet and don't go anywhere else. Up next is a railroad that runs sort of parallel to the UP Joliet Sub. It's the BNSF Chillicothe Subdivision. From Chicago, Illinois to Fort Madison, Iowa, the 220 miles of pure BNSF power never ends. It's a cool place to watch trains if you're interested in BNSF GEVOs. Also, fun fact, this line was originally owned by the Santa Fe Railway. It would be really cool if Santa Fe still existed today. Next is the Canadian National Matson Sub. It runs from Gary, Indiana to Joliet, Illinois, being only 45 miles of track length. Even though it's only a localized section of CN, it still contains many CN freight trains all day. I can't recall a single day I haven't seen a fallen flag unit reported on this line. It's so active. Not only that, I'm sure more than half the trains running on this line have some sort of special locomotive on them. It's an incredible subdivision, and you should railfan on it sometime if you haven't yet. The Iowa Interstate LaSalle Subdivision. Now, you might think that because it goes from Blue Island to Davenport, Iowa, and it's 160 miles long, it should be really active, right? No, of course not. There's only 4 freight trains that run each day on it, and most of them are at night. But it's okay, there are other subdivisions in the area that are more active. For example, the BNSF Chicago Sub. nicknamed the Racetrack. It's only 37 miles long from Chicago to Aurora. Why is it so short, you ask? It splits into two different subdivisions. BNSF trains from Chicago either go west on the Aurora Sub or southwest on the Mendota Sub. BNSF freight trains on this line are accompanied by Metra commuter trains and Amtraks. Also, this line is insanely busy. I'd say there's over 75 trains passing by this line each day. That's maybe too much. But I do hope all this non-stop action rolls on for years to come. Next, the Union Pacific Geneva Subdivision. Stretching from Chicago, Illinois to Clinton, Iowa, this 135-mile-long subdivision is filled with countless Union Pacific trains each day. It's a pretty cool subdivision if you're interested in Union Pacific trains. I like it, and I will definitely railfan on it again. Next, the CPKC Chicago Subdivision. From Chicago to Savannah, Illinois, this 135-mile subdivision is very interesting. If you travel to see freight trains on this line yourself, you most likely will see a lot of foreign power. And Metra trains as well. It's not the most active route in the Chicago area, but I still appreciate the trains that already pass by. The CN Leithton Sub. Just like the Matson Sub, this one is more localized with only 73 miles of tracks. It's basically a continuation of the Matson Subdivision with about the same amount of trains. And just like the Matson Sub, a lot of special locomotives run on it, and that's really cool. And just like that, we've made it to our last and final subdivision, the CPKC C&M Sub. It's a direct connection from Chicago to Milwaukee, which is about 80 miles away. Here you'll find Canadian Pacific freights and Amtrak such as the Empire Builder, the Hiawatha, and the Borealis. And don't forget about the Metra traffic south of Gurnee, Illinois. It's almost inevitable, a heritage unit or a fallen flag will run this line each day, which is crazy. A great subdivision to finish off this video. And that's the end. If you're interested, I've provided a link in the description to a website that shows a map of all the railroads in North America. If you like this video, I would appreciate if you give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as always, keep on railfanning.